If you're a survivor of abuse, know that your feelings are valid and it's not your fault. Too many survivors, and sometimes even well-meaning people in their lives, place blame where it doesn't belong. That's precisely why this message exists, to help break that damaging cycle by understanding how trauma shapes the brain, no matter what kind of abuse you endured, physical, emotional, or psychological. Abuse leaves marks that go far deeper than what we can see on the surface. It doesn't simply hurt in the moment, it can quietly alter the way your brain works, influencing how you think, what you feel, and how you relate to others long after the abuse has ended. Welcome to Beyond You, the channel that helps you explore what happens in everyday life and in your relationships with others. Here, I guide you to gain awareness and go beyond situations, beyond people, and beyond yourself to become the best version of who you are. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any inspiring content. Now, let's delve into what experts describe about the real impact of trauma on the brain, especially under stress. When someone is exposed to ongoing abuse, the brain's alarm system, built to keep you safe, can get stuck in a heightened state. One key player in this process is the amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster deep in the brain. The amygdala is your built-in danger detector, essential for the fight-or-flight response that kicks in when you sense danger. In the early stages of abuse, this system is incredibly useful. It helps you react quickly to threats and helps you survive. But with prolonged trauma, the amygdala can become chronically overactive. It stays primed, constantly scanning for threats, even when there aren't any. This persistent hypervigilance can make you feel as if danger is always near, which translates into ongoing anxiety, a perpetual sense of fear, and a tendency to startle easily. Another crucial area affected by trauma is the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for higher-order thinking, planning, decision-making, delay of gratification, and the careful regulation of emotions. Under the pressure of abuse, the prefrontal cortex can become less active or less able to regulate the emotions and impulses that arise from the amygdala. When this regulatory system is compromised, you may experience a kind of cognitive fatigue or a sense that your thoughts are running away with you. In practical terms, this can look like feeling anxious more easily, having trouble staying calm, or struggling to concentrate and make thoughtful decisions, especially in stressful situations. The day-to-day experience of being perpetually on edge can feel exhausting and disorienting, even when nothing particularly dangerous is happening in the moment. Trauma doesn't stop at the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus, a brain structure central to memory formation and spatial contextual processing, is also affected by chronic stress. Prolonged abuse can lead to changes in how memories are stored and retrieved. Some survivors find their memories are fragmented, blurry, or flash in and out without a clear narrative. Others experience intrusive recollections, where pieces of the trauma surface vividly in the absence of conscious control. In legal settings or situations where precise recall is important, this can lead to misunderstandings, with others erroneously suspecting that a survivor is lying. In reality, the brain is responding to trauma in ways that can make accurate memory storage and recall more challenging. Understanding this helps cultivate greater compassion for survivors and reduces the stigma they may face when they cannot recall every detail with perfect clarity. Trauma also affects how emotions are felt and expressed. When the amygdala is frequently flooded with signals of danger, the emotional system can become overwhelmed. In some cases, this leads to emotional blunting or numbing, a protective defense mechanism. People may feel emotionally disengaged or disconnected, finding it hard to experience both positive and negative emotions in the same moment. This blunting can provide temporary relief during abuse, but it often becomes a challenge to re-engage with a full spectrum of feelings after the abuse ends. If you've struggled with emotional numbness, know you're not alone. Healing is possible, and reaching out for support when you're ready is a sign of strength, not weakness. Another phenomenon linked to trauma is emotional dysregulation, the sense that your emotions swing too strongly or too quickly in response to ordinary triggers. Recent research from prominent institutions has highlighted how abuse can impair the brain's ability to regulate emotions, because the circuits that govern impulse control and emotional management have been altered. Imagine driving a car where the brakes sometimes fail and the accelerator sticks at dangerous moments. That analogy captures how someone's ability to modulate feelings like anger, sadness, or fear can become unreliable after trauma. The result can be intense emotional reactions that feel almost beyond control, as well as periods where emotions feel flat or absent, making it hard to feel anything at all. When it comes to behavior and daily functioning, the consequences of these brain changes can be striking. Children who have endured abuse often struggle in school. Their grades can drop, attention may be scattered, and it can be harder to stay on task. Some may be more prone to conflict or withdrawal, or to missing classes. Research has also linked physical abuse to higher risks of risky behavior later on, including drug use, heavy drinking, self-harm, and risky sexual activity. These patterns aren't signs of weakness or failure. They're signs of the brain trying to cope with overwhelming stress and a world that felt unsafe for a long time. The same mechanisms that prepared a person to respond quickly to danger can, in the long run, hamper careful planning, thoughtful decision-making, and the ability to weigh consequences. Depression and anxiety are common companions of trauma. People who have experienced abuse often report persistent feelings of hopelessness, emptiness, or a lack of motivation. They may also experience chronic anxiety, a sense of being perpetually on edge, or a fear that never quite goes away. For many, these symptoms extend beyond temporary mood states and meet the criteria for clinical conditions such as major depressive disorder, various phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, eating disorders, or other mood disturbances. It's important to recognize that these are not character flaws or personal failures. They are legitimate responses to extreme stress and injury to the brain and nervous system. The good news is that the brain is capable of change. With evidence-based support, therapy, and a stable environment, it can begin to rewire some of these pathways and restore a measure of balance and resilience. One of the more hopeful messages about trauma is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself in response to experience and learning. This means that with the right kind of support, healing is possible. Therapies such as cognitive behavioral approaches, EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, Mindfulness-based practices and other evidence-based treatments can help reframe traumatic memories, reduce hyperarousal, and restore a degree of emotional regulation. Equally important are practical foundations: regular sleep, physical activity, a nutritious diet, steady routines, meaningful relationships, and a sense of safety. Healing does not mean erasing the past. It means learning to live with it in a way that no longer controls your present or your future. If you're listening to this because you've experienced abuse, remember, it is not your fault. You did what you had to do to survive, and your brain did its best to protect you under unimaginably hard circumstances. Reaching out for help, whether to trusted friends or family, a counselor, a therapist, or a healthcare professional, is a courageous and constructive step. You deserve support, compassion, and the chance to regain a sense of safety and control over your life. So how can we better support people who are dealing with the hidden impacts of trauma? Start with listening and validation. Avoid minimizing their experiences or suggesting they just get over it. Acknowledge that what they feel is real and that their reactions have a basis in biology as well as psychology. Encourage small, concrete steps toward stability. Regular sleep, structured daily routines, safe social connections, and access to professional care. Be patient with fluctuations. Progress can be gradual, and setbacks don't mean failure. Offer practical help, such as accompanying someone to a therapy appointment, helping them locate resources in their community, or simply being present and non-judgmental when they want to talk. If you found this message helpful, consider sharing it with others who might benefit. You can also leave your thoughts, questions, or experiences in the comments, and let's foster a supportive community where people feel heard and understood. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking a step toward greater understanding, healing, and hope. With gratitude,